Hello everyone, Beth from Access Paranormal, and here are a couple of cool tips about editing audio and reviewing audio from paranormal investigations. Now, this was a query that came through Facebook, so hopefully I'm able to shed some light on and give some information that could help you with your audio recordings. So firstly, I'll start with the fact that just like with visual or photos that you take at investigations in Windows Explorer, I know that there's also Mac users will have their own operating systems that you can actually check to see the properties of a particular file. So if you have a look at the properties in this one is one I prepared earlier. If you go into details, you can actually see the date created and the date modified is the same. Now, there's the funny thing about that is I originally recorded this file in WAV format, so WAV format, and then actually what they call export it into MP3. And the reason being is that I can't actually mix two WAV files together. WAV is a better quality file, it's a bigger file. But yeah, in order for me and to be able to mix it, which I'll show you later, I have to convert it into MP3. But anything that I've made any changes to prior to that has actually just been wiped. So that looks like a brand new file. But we know for a fact, well, I know for a fact that I've actually edited that. So that's one thing to keep in mind, is the fact that if someone changes the file format, it does take away all the previous date stamps and times on that particular file. If someone has edited it after that, then you go and have a look in the same area, and you can see that there is a difference in the time that it was created and the time that it was modified. Again, it's not something that I would recommend you solely rely on as a proof that something may have been tampered or there was something, not right. It can be overridden. All I would need to do is actually just resave that particular file, export it again as an MP3, and it would wipe all that data, and it just looks like something that was done then. The key to that, though, is the date and time. So if the date and time is after the alleged investigation, that might give you a bit of a clue that it's actually been tampered with. Hard to say again, because sometimes people will actually want to emphasize a sound, and that means they've had to edit it anyway. But know that it's there. Know that that's a place to look at, but don't completely rely on the properties of the file. Now, this is how you actually fake an EVP. I don't encourage this in any way, but being able to show people how it's done will obviously help a little bit better when it comes to reviewing potential evidence that someone may have given you, and you're not sure, and you're thinking, oh, I'm not sure if this is actually something that's quite legit. So what we do is, the first thing is I'll actually give this, I love Audacity, I use it for all my podcasts. I will actually play this. It gets a bit louder here. So that was a really, really windy night, and I recorded that on my balcony. And that's, when we're out investigating outside, there's going to be outside noises, there's going to be wildlife, there'll be cars going past, all that sort of thing. Now, if somebody wants to fake an EVP, they're going to have to record the voice in a completely different environment. It needs to be a clean environment. No, it doesn't mean you run around with your domestos. It actually means there has to be absolutely no background noise, no TV noise, no fans, heaters, nothing. It needs to be a very, very, very clear, no background recording. Reason being, say for instance, we'll go back into here and actually look, because there's already background noise here. If you record a voice that has background noise in it as well, you're actually doubling up on the same sound. So you're actually got double the background noise. So it actually will become louder. And so if you're listening back and the voice suddenly comes in, and then the sound background noise gets louder, that's an indication that someone's tried to possibly record their own voice at the location and then slotted it in. But what happens if it's been done afterwards in a clean environment? So I'll put my voice in. By the way, I do have to apologise profusely. This is a terrible EVP attempt. I'd make a terrible spirit. All right. So say, for instance, we've got the background noise. Yep, totally woeful, isn't it? But, and it's the standard Get Out, but as you can tell, because that was actually recorded in a very clean and clear, a very, no noise pollution type environment, I can actually mix that right into here, and you won't be able to tell that that was recorded, in a completely different space. So that's another way in which it can be done. I mean, obviously with something like that, you can even just minimize the sound and make it even more spooky by, cutting it by 10, cutting it by 10 dB. But, sorry, that was minus 10 dB dials. There we go. So that even makes it more spooky. But that sounds like I was there, and I wasn't. But that voice track needs to be a clean recording in order for that to work. A couple of other cool tips is that burst EVP sessions, I know it sounds really painful. I highly recommend them not to be painful. Reason being is that when you do a burst EVP session, you're able to do a recording, a voice recording or audible recording for about, say, 5 to 10 minutes, and then you're able to review back on the spot. So if something does come up, you can actually debunk it, or you can actually, it gives a bit more validity to the actual recording itself. So that's always a good thing to try to help eliminate the possibility of something being faked. I know we all don't always have the time to spend audio, reviewing our audio, within 24 hours after an investigation. So sometimes it can take a week or so. So that kind of stuff does happen. Do keep that in mind. But really, enjoy your editing. These are just a couple of cool tips. I hope you enjoyed it, and keep investigating.